And sometimes, and you know, I'm gonna say it, our people are just stupid as hell.
I'm gonna go to church for a second, y'all. So you know how people go to church. You know how people go to church and they become. Shut up.
And we vote for these black leaders, and we feel good about it because we feel they understand us, and then we send them to the state capitol to represent us. But there's 50 seats there.
We've had to hide. We've had to hide behind our uniforms, police uniforms. We've had to hide behind our executive suits. So when Trump came out, when Trump became so vocal, it gave us the ignition to come out and show who we really are. Racist. And you can see. What's up, everybody? Let's go ahead and bring my today's guest in. Let's go. We're just gonna start this thing together. How's it going, man?
It's going well, man. It's going well, man.
How's the weather over in what do you call it? Is it the sunny state? I don't know. What in the peach? What? No, that's Georgia.
Nah, it's Georgia. It's the sunshine state, man. People in Florida, man. People in Republic of Florida, man. It is great here today on a Friday. It is sunny on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Central Time when I'm on Be the People with my man Lawrence. So it's even better.
I like that. I like it. And I appreciate you for being on TFG tonight. What's great is that Be the People is also on the same channel as TFG Tonight, and that is political media, as you guys can see. Political media, rep a little bit.
My man, big baller Brandon, and they not even dropping us money.
Right up. All right, so we're gonna chat a little bit, man. So much has been going on. For y'all that have watched TFG Tonight on Mondays, you know we normally have a big panel of folks, and everybody get to talking, and it's a good fun time. But we don't really get a chance to just kind of casually just chill and have a conversation and get some understanding on some things, and just chat. And I want this platform on Fridays to really give me an opportunity to talk to my brothers, talk to my sisters. Like I got my brother on the daily way, and just have a conversation, just as though we were sitting on the phone having a conversation about the foolery that's going on in the world. So that's what we're gonna do. One thing that's important though that I want to talk about before we get into the foolery that's transpiring in the world is Mo3. A lot of people outside of Texas may not know who this is. A lot of people in Texas don't know who he is. But if you have your ear to the ground as relate to the rap game, I guess, then you will perhaps know who this gentleman is. I'm pull up the story here. Mo3 is a rapper from Dallas, and he was gunned down on Highway 35 in Dallas a week or two ago. It's been about a week or two now. No arrests have been made, but it's from what I hear, he was followed from leaving a chick's house. I think he knew he was being followed. Dude ended up, I guess, cutting him off on the highway, shooting at him on the highway. He stopped, got out of his vehicle, took off running, and was shot in the back of the head, basically. And now they have actual photos of the gunman and of his car, which is, I think, a Chevy Camaro, the thought car. Hopefully, that ain't what you drive, bro. But that thought Camaro that a lot of the guys be driving is what the killer was driving. So hopefully they find who it is. There's a funeral today. They had the funeral today for him. I'm sure it was COVID restrictions, but I'm sure it was very much a big event because he seems to be pretty well known here locally. And who was that? Boosie? Boosie was in town. When he first got shot, and he ended up getting shot in the leg. I don't know if it's by the same group of folks or what, but he was shot while he was here as well, here for the whole Mo3 situation. So the crime in Dallas is getting out of hand. I'm not sure what it's like over in Florida, but in Dallas, I've never known it to be this crazy. It's starting to feel very south side of Chicago-ish, very Detroit-ish as of late, very Compton-ish. Very Crenshaw Mafia. And I live downtown, so I'm hearing every day I get alerts. A shooting on Marcellus, which is right up the street, a shooting in the West End, which is right 2 blocks away downtown. A shooting in Deep Ellum, which is 3 blocks that way. It's like right here close. Every day is something going on. How's the crime? What's it like in the area you live in Florida? What area are you? Miami, Orlando?
No, sir. I am in the People's Republic of Melbourne, right? So I am like Melbourne, just central, right? Oh, even Alexa found out that Melbourne is next. There's crime here, right? There's crime all throughout this state. But what it is mainly is I'm so adverse with the shooting, and I'm not even going to go into the black on black crime. Well, in fact, that alone there, I don't even know who shot Mo3 or even who shot Bootsy or anything like that. If they were black, right? So I can't even make an educated comment on that. But that is one of the things that we arm those people when we talk about reform. We arm them with that type of mentality because they say black on black crime, just on that crime, minority on minority crime. Nonetheless, and we sitting there like, oh, we gotta stop the violence. We gotta stop the violence. Like, as a man said, as a prolific philosopher said, y'all killed X, Zimmerman lived, streets are done. So, I mean, I don't want to hear anything about street codes. I don't want to hear anything about nothing. The crime is horrible. Even we saw a versus battle last night between Jeezy and Gucci, and Jeezy won. So nonetheless, right, I found out that he put what? They said 10K on Gucci's head back in 2005.
What? See, I didn't even watch it. I didn't know that.
Right, they said that's what he put on his head, but then 15 years later, 15 years later, Gucci's talking more of a man, more of a real estate approach, all this other stuff. So yeah, there's a reform there, but also so I'm going 2 ways with it. One is the reform, and the other way is the trauma, right? So imagine somebody puts any money on your head to kill you, right? And you standing with that guy face to face, even though there's other stuff going on. So. Yeah. All that.
So what do we do? Like you said, the trauma. I think that's a big part.
Like, so if anybody, so one, right? So if anybody puts anything on my head, right? Like, I'm not a killer. I'm not, whatever the case could be. But if anybody puts anything on my head to kill me, right? And I have to stand in that room with that person, right? No matter what defense mechanisms I've done in my past, right? That is very traumatic, and nonetheless, it is something that you have to go. You have anxiety, you have everything else. I encourage people to go to therapy and talk it out.
Absolutely,
right? And you don't even have. And if you don't understand therapy, really, because I've gone and I've talked to So look at it like this: you are talking to an individual who does not know you, but it's like you're talking into not a wall, but you're talking to the space, that space that's listening, that can help you get that off of you, off of that shoulders, right? And so there's different types of therapy, and that versus battle was very therapeutic. I don't know what man-on-man conversation they had about it. I don't know if Jeezy apologized for it.
So they ended it on good terms?
They ended it on good terms. They performed so icy.
Okay, because when I popped into it, it was a little hostile. I'm like, what's going on here?
And I think if it was real hostile, even though they performed so icy at the end, I think so. I don't know any conversations that happened, right? But looking at it from the outside perspective, Jeezy reached out to him and said, "Hey, let's do a versus battle," right? And Gucci could have said easily, "Hey, man, we could do it, but I'm just gonna let my stuff go. I'm gonna just tell you how I feel."
Yeah.
And Jeezy just took it, right? And if you put something on somebody's head, no matter what the situation is, you just take it, right? Yeah. And then that could have been therapy. That could have been Gucci's therapy, if that made sense, right?
Absolutely, I like that. It's good. It's good to hear that they made amends in the end on that, because I thought it was
one of the best versus battles, I think.
You mentioned black on black crime. Can we talk about that for a second? I know it's not a topic, but so people do use that or bring that up when it comes to police brutality and things like that. And I've even mentioned it in conversations. And so Kendrick is saying, unfortunately, being a rapper may be the most dangerous profession. I want to touch on that real fast. Yeah, I think it is if you portraying yourself as this gangster.
Correct.
Or if you are a gangster. Because I mean, a lot of gangsters get opportunity to make it big and they don't let go of their gangster mentality. They feel like it makes me wonder, what's the reason you became a gangster? Most people become gangsters to be a part of something, or for protection, to be a part of a clique in the neighborhood that they're in, for protection, because if you don't join, you kind of the outside, you probably get your tail whooped, so is that the reason they do it? And if that's the case, why keep it up once you get out of the hood?
I can't even, I'm just going to speak it. It's an immature mentality, right? It's a mentality that you were raised, that you had, that you got to protect this block that protected you, that kept your back on. But nonetheless, did that block, y'all fighting over, y'all calling it this block, right?
Yeah.
Nonetheless, y'all calling it this housing project, y'all calling it all this other stuff. None of this stuff that you own, bro.
Right.
None of this, because gentrification can happen and wipe you all out. But nonetheless, right? It's like this mythological. It's like being in a fort. When you were a kid and you had a fort and you protected that fort, that's exactly how I feel like that being on the block stuff was, right? Because I am
right.
It is a portrayal. Yes, nobody's coming out to the rapper.
Jay-Z. I mean, there's some that are businessmen. They turned it into business.
Right. Nobody's coming after Drake. Nobody's coming after J. Cole. Nobody's coming after Kendrick. Nobody's coming after all these people because they talk about what they know. But people had this mindset of, I got to protect this imaginary thing that I own, that I do. I'm out here hustling. I'm out here. Nah, bro. That's a choice, my guy.
Right. You're not having to do that stuff no more. Like, who was that dude, Boosie? Like the stuff they be talking about. I'm like, dude, you rich now. Like, chill out.
Right. Why are you going back to your own? Like, there's people that can't make it. Okay, there's other ways in helping people that can't make it. Right. Now, there's ways of you can buy. How did that prolific guy Sean Carter say? You can buy the block, right, with your money, right? You can do that and help people build up. But y'all don't want to do it. Or sorry, not y'all. They don't want to do it.
Don't want to do it. Yeah.
They want to stay in that prison-alec mentality, and that whole keep you behind mentality. Right, I remember when I was a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing. My mom dropped me off in the hood, and I was like, "Nah, son, I'm good." Right,
right.
Nah, the two-parent household with the house, we're good. I'm great.
And it's sad because there's so many rappers lately been shot. Like, what is going on? Like, what the hell is happening?
But here's the thing, right? And this, so these are a lot of these rappers, right? And I may be considered old now. But I don't know who Mo3 is, and I don't know who the next person is. Or the next
I didn't know him either. I had to research.
Right. I don't know who young Laminate Floor is, right? All of these people could get shot, and I'd be like, oh, that's cool. You ain't getting no clout for me. You ain't getting no big ups for me because I don't know who you are. There's nothing that you're doing as long as, it said in the news report that I read that an innocent bystander was actually hit who was in the car. And that's where I had a problem. If you got a beef with him, you and him take it out. You don't injure when you injure somebody else, my guy. You're doing you're being right, and that's the mental mentality. That's a little kid mentality that they have, and that's why. But you arm those Republicans, and you arm those conservatives, and you arm those and whoever's, and you say. With this mentality, and they're like, well, what about black on black crime?
And I'm that guy. As an independent, I'm that guy. When all the George Floyd, people gonna hate this, but I don't care. All the George Floyd stuff came out. My thing was, yes, let's go hard for George Floyd, but are we gonna also have the same energy when little John is terrorizing grandmas and anybody that walk up and down the wrong street over in South Dallas and Oak Cliff? Or we're gonna have the same energy when they shoot and killing each other over there. One of my relatives is shot and killed over there. Can we have the same energy? Or we just let it continue? It's a site that it is what it is. Everybody knows, just don't go there because it's dangerous. But nobody's marching, nobody's doing anything as relate to the crime that's happening or the killings that's happening over there. Lisa B says, why does it even have to be black on black crime?
I don't know if that's a question or more of a statement, but it could be anybody on anybody crime. Before people say it's about proximity, calm that down, right?
Education.
Right. So when people say, well, you're more to kill in the proximity of somebody of your same color, that may be true. And I say may because I haven't killed anybody in the proximity of my same color. So and nobody has killed me, Lord forbid. Right?
Right.
So,
we're not gonna wood.
We got right. So I'm just like, what are the excuses? So I'm a person that if you murder somebody, go for the full extent of the law. If you steal from somebody, go for the full extent of the law.
Yeah.
Like if you carjack all that other stuff, go to the full extent of the law.
Yeah.
Right? It is like that's the stuff that just bothered me because there's no. We talk about the Trump administration. Follow me when I say this. We talk about the Trump administration being reckless because there's no consequences for what they're going through. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, it's the same thing. You could be like, yes. Oh, well, we got prison and jail. No. Let's show them. Let's take them away, right? Mm-hmm. Let's not have fair. We call it fair trial. Okay, let's go to the trial system. Let's
fair
go to
speedy trial.
Right. Let's go to the full extent of the law. Damn a plea agreement. And I know most of them want to do a plea agreement beforehand, but you start that plea agreement high in negotiation.
Absolutely.
35 years. And you like, oh wow, yeah, because I watch shows like 60 Days In and all this other, that's Scared Straight, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, and the thing is sad to me though. While I love my people, if you look at the stats and look at how often we are, I know Lisa B, I know we frown on calling it black on black crime, and I won't call it that for the sake of just because. But the crime that happens in black neighborhoods, it's staggering, it's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Our own people being killed by each other. I don't know what else to call it. Let me see. I'm just saying people hurt each other. The one who commit the crime needs to be prosecuted. Yeah. I think that it's just a way for them to continue pointing fingers at the black community.
Well, okay, so yeah, I see what she's saying about that, but here's where I would caution her about playing more of a not a victim role, but being coddling behind that. And we have to be accountable So, for example, we got to be the IRS to our own people. If you don't pay the IRS, they will garnish your wages and take that money. Right? So we gotta be accountable to our own people. Where we like for example, right? And in this complex, in this duplex I live in, right? People were making noise 2 nights ago. I opened the door. I don't care what your race was. I was like, hey, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah,
I'm holding you accountable. And that was your first time, but I'm holding you accountable. I'm letting you know that, hey, I see what you're doing. I hear what you're doing. Calm down, right? Be respectful. Keep it pushing. It's the same thing I expect from me, right? Yeah. So we need to hold them accountable. I don't care what the verbiage is. If we didn't hold each other accountable, then they wouldn't be calling it black on black crime or whatever the wording is. And I don't care about the word. Let's just hold them accountable because our little percentage is what we need to familiarize, if that makes sense, right?
Absolutely. I feel you. And I can go days on that, but I'll jump to the next thing. What's the next topic? Because we're going to talk about that again next week. I want to add that in next week because it needs to be talked about a lot more. It needs to be talked about. I love the whole accountability piece you added into it because there are a lot of women that are with guys that they know are doing this stuff.
Oh man!
They get a pass. They have babies by them. they get a pass. There are mamas out there that know their sons are doing this, that, and the other. They get a pass. Nobody says nothing. It's just that's him. That's him. He in the streets, and it's a problem. But anyway, let me see. I understand what you say. I understand, but at the same time, we try to hold them accountable. They turn around and point fingers at us, but you talking about white folks? Okay,
I don't know who they is, but they the one that's in my pockets. They is the one that's trying to rob me again because we're in closer proximity. It is. I don't care who's they only point a finger if you're not doing your job. When you're in corporate America, they will point the finger at you if you're not doing your job. Anywhere they will point it if they're not doing your job. White, black, yellow, orange, Indian, Chinese, whatever. Who cares? The point is we need to point the finger at ourselves. That's exactly what we need to do. Keep pointing the finger and just being like, all right, cool. So when we keep pointing the finger and we need to be stern about that finger point, it's like they don't feel away. They're like, all right, cool. My own people holding me accountable. Because if we point it first, then them other folks, they ain't gonna say that. They can stay out of it. They can mind their own business. If we're policing our own communities, as Democrats say they want to do, police our own, defund the police and police our own neighborhoods. That's what they own. Georgia recount. So the results are in, right? Looks like Biden is officially the winner in Georgia. They counted them by hand.
the Secretary of State. I mean, it's been certified, I believe. So that's that as it relates to Georgia. Was Georgia red already?
Georgia was red. Georgia was red and flipped to blue with the drive of Miss Stacey Abrams. Or Stacey Abrams, sorry, with the drive of Miss Stacey Abrams. Like, so, I mean, God works in mysterious ways, right? Whoever you believe in works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
I say that because she lost the governorship to Kemp, right? And I was mad about that portion, right? Because, then you had this coronavirus and all this other nonsense, right? Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess her losing kind of lit more of a fire underneath her.
It lit a fire under her big time.
And that's what you're supposed to do when you quote unquote lose. Lit that fire is supposed to be.
She could have sulked. She could have been like, "Let me chill out for a while, or let me get on the campaign. Let me start campaigning for myself for my next thing in 2 to 4 years." But she got to work for other people. She got to work for everybody, and that's so noble. So very noble.
So she did it. I'm not even gonna make fun of the young man.
That's funny.
I'm not even gonna make fun of
the young man.
I'm not even gonna make fun of the young man down here who I campaigned for during his loss. You know how he went to his train wreck, right?
Yeah.
So but he found himself, good for him, right? But Stacey Abrams, what I loved about her was you could see there was some sort of resilience in her from the jump when she was like, "Nah, I'm not. I know I won Georgia as a governor."
Yeah.
Right, we taking this. We taking this. Well, we got to take it, right? But when she conceded, and she was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna get it's a marathon. It ain't a race."
And she's doing all the right things.
And people say that they want Stacey Abrams in the administration. I don't want Stacey Abrams in the administration. I want Stacey Abrams on the ground. I need her on the ground. She needs to be the eyes and the ears to Biden and Harris, to President Biden and Vice President Harris. And because what we do is this is what we do. We take people who are doing a good job on the ground and we bring them up to the red tape area.
Then you leave the ground empty.
Right, and the ground is empty because we have nobody to backfill.
Yeah, right? I see that because nobody's being prepped. I know there's no people being prepared to take that spot. Because it's not very many. It takes special people to do what she's done. There's a whole lot of public officials that look like us that are in these positions for decades that aren't doing anything. Not like her. Like, why don't we know who else is there? Who else is there in Georgia? Who else is there? Who else other than the mayor of Atlanta, I guess?
Right. Somebody could spit names at me and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but they not making the mark that I need them to make. I need them to be, I don't need them to be Puff Daddy loud, but I need them to be like, hey, if Stacey Abrams moved up to another position, can you take that and embody that, right? And it's not like, and there's 49 other states, right? Yeah. So it's like, I need somebody to, like, if she's training up a whole coalition of folk, all good. And then at the same time, to your point, we have people that are in it for themselves. We also have people that can be executioners but don't know how to play the game. She's one of the rare ones that can be an executioner and play the game.
So I think you think she gonna run for governorship again?
I think she is, but I need her to. You know what? I want the Democratic Party to say, okay, sit her down and say, all right, Stacey, this is where we need you. We need you. Do we need you in governorship? If not this 4 years, we're gonna need you in. I'm sorry, not this 2 years. We're gonna need you in another set of 2 years from now. Right? If not this term, we're gonna need you in the next term. And then this term in the first 2 years, we need you on the ground doing boom, 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 whatever you gotta go do. Right?
I would like to ask everybody real quick, anyone that's watching, thank you for watching. If you would hit that like button, a little thumbs up real quick for us, I would really, really appreciate it. Lisa, Charles, Hannah, whoever else is watching out there, only names I see right now, but if you just hit the like button for us real quick, we'd certainly appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, do that too. Right? But I'll jump back into it. I want to jump to Warnock, Reverend Warnock, who's running against was it Locklear or Leckler, whatever her name is. Yep. She's really coming at him. I did a video on it earlier this week because a lot of his old sermons are coming back to bite him. And those sermons could be a little damning as it relates to the veterans and white folks. He did a message about whiteness. I can't think of the exact. I wrote it down. I forgot what it was. Something about whiteness, making whiteness our gods or something like that. White folks are gods so much, and also veterans. You can't serve the military and serve God at the same time. Is what he says. So there's a lot of Georgian vets, old white men, anybody. It makes me think that any white folk that were on that fence, and you know, a lot of time they vote for Black Democrats out of guilt. They vote for it because they really don't like the Republican candidate. So they really, it's almost like they teeter-totter on top of that thing. And any little thing you do will give them an excuse to be like, nope, see, Negro, see, I knew I wasn't going to vote for this Negro. And I feel like her digging is very smart. Hopefully it don't work, but her digging is probably going to give them that ammunition to be like, I ain't voting for this Negro.
But what
do you think?
What I need them to realize is this. Does he have any room to grow? Like what you say 5 years ago comes back at you, right? If his actions back then is what his mindset was, it's like a Kevin Hart scenario, right? Kevin Hart said what he said about his son his son, right, 9-10 years ago. And then the Grammys or Emmys, they quote unquote canceled him, right? And it's not like in 9-10 years he couldn't grow as a person to understand everything else right now. Like 8-9-10 years ago, we weren't given pronouns when we spoke, right? Right. So now, if I said something back then, if you can pull up old video or whatever about me saying something, which I doubt you can find, right? And if you can, if you can, boom, we can talk, right? But if you find old video from me, right, from 10 years ago saying whatever I was saying, then cool. But then I grew as I understand, right? And that's the maturation of life. And that in the political world seems to be so antiquated where they stay in this little box of, well, he said this back in whenever he said it. Damn. Right?
2011 and 2014.
2011 and 2014. Let's see what happened in 2011 and 2014. We had a black president. Let's see who won the Super Bowl in 2011.
Right? Charles could tell you.
No, the New York Giants. Right? I knew that because I'm a Patriots fan. They lost. Right? So my point is, it's like the Giants haven't been back to the Super Bowl since the Patriots have won two or three since that motion. Right? My point is if you're gonna stay in that mindset, right? That is just horrible. That means you're not gonna grow as an individual and as a politician. Well, hell, you are an individual.
So I think it really depends on how he responds, and if his response is what you're saying, that he's grown from it and he feels different. Perhaps he has a chance, but that ain't his response. Is more so of they're misinterpreting what he said. What he said was based on script. He's pulling from scripture and explaining a scripture. So I don't know. I think it can go either way as it relates to that. So
the scripture is it's interpreted as meant like you can put 100 people into a room and read the same passage, right? Some people will take that direct passage and quote it one way or interpret it one way. Some will go the passage before that or passages before that, and some will go the passage after that.
Absolutely.
So it's all how he interprets it. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying let's look at this thing from a holistic standpoint instead of this little box that we love giving people.
And how he continues to defend himself is going to speak volumes on if he can play the game right. Because this ain't going to be his first attack. I mean, not his last attack.
Right.
So if he can navigate this attack in a good way, then that speaks volumes. If he can't, then it may not, you can win all you want, but if you get in the Senate and you ain't got nothing behind you, and you can't defend yourself and make things happen, then you just another person sitting in the Senate that can't get nothing done for your constituency in Georgia. So hopefully we can work through it. I'm sick of just putting folks in position because they look like me or they have my politics, but they can't get nothing done, don't know how to play the game when they get to Washington.
Correct. That's what I need.
I'm over that.
You know what? We should put our politicians into an escape room simulation. And that's who I'm voting for. Right.
Because they can say all the right things. They can say, like, you can agree with 100% with what I believe, but if you ain't got no teeth, if you ain't got nothing in you where you can make will and deal with the other side, or even with your own party that may be a little more further left or further right than you are, if you can't will and deal and get nothing done, if you ain't a business person, you can't negotiate.
Right.
Which is why it bothers me. I have a thing towards preachers that get into politics and want to get in office. I'll just be honest. Mm-hmm. While they may have the right reasons for wanting to do it because they're community leaders anyway, particularly these old Baptist preachers, can you get in that negotiating thing with white folks? Or because in the black church, we hear a lot of stuff over the pulpit that may not be so PC when it comes to the other races, right? The things that might be said. You preaching to a black audience predominantly, so you may say things that you can't say to a multicultural audience. And can that stuff? Do you have the skills to will and deal with other races and get things done? Hold on. She says, how can we hold Biden accountable if he doesn't have the Senate to help him keep up his promises? What are your thoughts? We can talk about that because it was our last topic. Let's talk about that. I like that. Let me tackle that real quick.
It's your point about negotiation, right? It's a bipartisanship relationship.
Right.
So it's about concessions and stances. So if you make the right concessions to him, right, we can still hold him. If he says, hey, I'm going to let's say, what do you say, forgive student loan debt, right? And the Senate's like, nah, bro, we're not doing that. Right? Now it's on you to be like, you can't go up to people like, you know what, I said that, right? I was just joking, right? My bad, right? But you gotta go and deal with those people that's gonna find you them X's, and you gotta say, all right, what is it that you want in a future deal? Why is it that you don't agree with
that's the game. Right. That's the game.
And that's what Nancy Pelosi, and them people, that's what and Chuck Schumer, they gotta speak for him on that level too, right? Instead of her doing the claps and the Kunte and the Kunte Neal and all of that stuff, they gotta go up there and they actually have to speak on behalf, find out exactly what it is to get the right votes, to get the votes how they gotta get them.
Absolutely. See what Biden has to do, and I agree with everything he said. He has to make promises to the Republicans about what things that they want, but he has to also go and say, you the head of the Democratic Party. But I also have to, in the House, I still have to go to you and say, hey, listen, we ain't gonna get nothing done if we can't work with the Republicans. They want this. How much are you willing to give up? So we can give them this, but we can also get what we want at the same time. I need you, Nancy Pelosi, or say not Nancy Pelosi, but leader. Yeah. I need you to talk to your folks. You're the leader of the House, of the Democrats right now. I need you to get them to budge and vote for this, because if we give them this, we can get this. And that's the game. But some of them aren't willing to give up nothing. Like right now, Nancy ain't willing to give up nothing out of hate and spite for Trump. So no matter what it is,
correct,
she's willing to go at a stalemate because she don't want to give Trump anything.
So you do this. So this also to the point that said, the Republicans and Mitch McConnell. So the Democrats, they want to play dirty. If he does all of the concessions that don't work, all right, look, American people, if I'm Joe Biden, American people, we want to give you that promise that I made about forbidding student loans. Right. However, these people are holding it up, right?
Put them on Front Street.
So guess what? When their term for election happens, don't put them in the office. Look at people that's going to do it. Right. But, that's how I would do it. Let's see, Obama last 4 years, they shut down everything.
And I agree with you. They have to be more forthcoming. Like, Maxine Waters, who I'm not a fan of, but I respect who she is for being in there for so long and doing her thing. She said something in an interview recently. She said that people don't understand how Congress works. And she started explaining a little bit of it. For the first time, I never hear congressmen talk about how it really works. Because most folks that vote or don't vote think that, okay, I want this. We need to just get everybody to vote on it. And it's a whole lot that you have to do to get a bill through. And she explained a little bit of it. And I just say, she said there's a lot of amendments that go in. The Republicans propose some, or we propose something. They got an opportunity to put amendments. And then we got to vote on the amendments. It's like so much different red tape you have to go through and negotiating. And I think if they let us in on more of that, they will make a whole lot more sense to people when people can vote accordingly.
Right. It's a generalized civics lesson. Half of the people in the world didn't pay attention to civics, right? And then nonetheless, right? Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's so much red tape. Like there's bills that are 176 pages. They're humans. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, we're gonna do this on Monday. You be like, I ain't reading no 176 page.
Right.
Yeah, I already know what I don't like about it. Tell me, all right, so you come up to me, you say, all right, cool. I say 13th, or not 13th Amendment, but article this, and this. All right, cool. So what we'll do is on their next bill, we'll give you the concession. What is it that you want? Right? What is it that you want for your people? Do you want Joe to speak on behalf of your state for blah, blah, blah? Yes. Right. If it's not within the, outside of his morale, But yeah, so
and some of them are sneaky with it though too. Like for stuff like this whole like Republicans may put a bill up that may be good for everybody, but the Democrats may say, all right, you do that, but one of the amendments I want to add in, for instance, we're gonna make Juneteenth a federal holiday.
Right. Take off Juneteenth as a federal holiday. I don't give you that, bro.
It's like, one little thing to hold it up because they know it's against what other people want. Totally. So it's a game, and that's again. We said all that to say we need to elect people in that can play the game, but also have our best interests at heart, that have our values, but that know how to play the game as well, because it's all a game. I know we passed time, but I want to just talk about maybe for 2 minutes. We can talk about Michigan. Okay. We know the President Trump is trying to. Really trying to cheat, man. He's trying to get some Republican leaders from Michigan to come to the White House to try to coerce them into reversing the certification of the election. He's blatant.
He is trying his heart out, and what they're doing right now, you can start to feel like the Republican Party that had his back, they're kind of fading off, and like snow.
Thank you, Lisa.
So they're fading off like snow on a windshield when you drive in that car, and they're like, "Hey, yo, my man, it's over.
It's over." And they're speaking out. Mitt Romney's speaking out. Some of the others speaking out. They're like, "Okay, now you about to jeopardize all of our future in politics because who gonna trust us?" I got plans. I'm trying to run for president at some point. And you ostracizing because if you're gonna run for president, you need some votes from both sides and the middle. Now, you ostracizing us now. And he's going full throttle with it, as is his idiot attorney, Giuliani. Why would he even have Giuliani as his attorney? He knows Giuliani is an idiot.
Giuliani is
a clown.
Yeah, that's the best word. And I mean, you saw the appearance is disgusting, just like my man Mitch McConnell, right? So all of that is just like Giuliani he could articulate himself, but he articulates himself like in a Trump form to me, right? And that's why So Giuliani's going to go down with this shit. He's going to be the band playing with the Titanic. And nonetheless, good for him.
Yeah.
Great for him.
So he's going from being coined for some reason as the guy that took down that went against the attack of the mafia in New York and was America's mayor.
Yeah. And you can go. You have one of the best titles in the world, right? You could have just ended it and been like, cool. Yeah. And now you look like you're Trump's attorney, and that's all people are gonna remember you for.
That's all they go. His little. I don't want to say what I want to say. Yeah, his flunky, basically. And so that interview, that press conference he did it just took the cake. Where his hair started sweating down the side of his face was.
Right.
He didn't want to live that out.
Yeah, use hair clips for a minute. I don't even use hair clips for a minute. I let the face show up. So he used that dollar store stuff. No offense to the
right. So he had that happen. Then he had the whole Borat thing where he's in a room with a underage girl, with a woman, going to the bedroom in a hotel, not knowing he was being recorded. So what does it take for people to look and see these people are no good? Come on now. Why are we listening to Giuliani?
Because they're taking it as there's parts of the country that has that one grass pope, and then the rest of the country is like, well, I guess Biden is our president, so let's take down these flags. Right.
Hey,
neighbor, how you doing there, neighbor?
Absolutely.
Get out of here, son.
Absolutely.
And quickly back to the senators that he's trying to get back. They're probably going up to him like, look, putting their hand on the shoulder, like, look here, Donnie, take care of Junior. Junior has COVID-19.
He has COVID-19.
Go home and take care of your family. Just go take care of your family. It's okay. It's over for you, my guy. He's doing press conferences as though ain't nothing happened. Like it been no election. He's talking about lowering the pharmaceutical price. I'm like, dude, shut up. Go home and what are you talking about? You have a family to maintain, just come back to us. Look, kid, just go home and come back to us like in 4 years. You'll be all right. You're good.
Right. Give it a shot in 4 years, see what happens. But for now, get out of here like we about to do. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Man, thank you for coming on, bro. It's always a pleasure.
See me on Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Central Time.
Yep. If you are watching and you have not subscribed to TFG Political Media, shame on you. Go ahead and type in TFG Political Media or actually just right under the video you're watching. Click the subscribe button, please. Also, there's a join button. You can become a member and get exclusive content, exclusive emojis and stuff like that. You can click the join button right next to the subscribe button. Also, click the bell so you get notifications when new videos come. And thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace